TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. The U.S. military has launched a number of retaliatory strikes against the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps in Iran, that after the terror regime in Tehran shot down an American MQ-1 drone operating over international waters. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the United States stands ready to re-engage Iran pending President Trump's instructions. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announces the intensification of operations against the Iranian proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon. The U.S. military has launched retaliatory strikes against the Islamic Republic of Iran, that after the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, or IRGC, shot down an American MQ-1 drone that was operating over international waters, among other hostile actions against U.S. service members in the area. According to U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM conducted self-defense strikes on Iranian radar and command and control sites for drones in Goruk, Iran, and Qasem Island this weekend. The measured and deliberate strikes occurred on Saturday and Sunday in response to aggressive Iranian actions, which, according to CENTCOM, including the shoot-down of a U.S. MQ-1 drone. In response, U.S. fighter aircraft swiftly responded by eliminating Iranian air defenses, a ground control station, and two one-way attack drones that posed clear threats to ships transiting regional waters. Meanwhile, in an interview with regime-run television, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghei acknowledged that the IRGC continues to block freedom of navigation through the strategic Strait of Hormuz to any vessel which does not heed its instructions, to include illegal protection payments for every vessel transiting the strategic waterway.
Yes, the Strait of Hormuz is closed to hostile ships and military vessels, but during this same period commercial ships have traveled through this route in coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Baghei continued by stressing that negotiations with the United States are ongoing, while further insisting that the Ayatollah regime will not accept any diktats by the United States.
We said goodbye to the language of must 47 years ago. None of the Western parties, when speaking about the Islamic Republic of Iran, can use the language of must. We make our own decisions based on the interests and rights of the Iranian nation. As I speak to you now, the exchange of messages is continuing, but an understanding has not been finalized. Regarding other points that have been mentioned, including the nuclear issue, I stress again that at this stage we are focused on ending the war. Therefore, we have nothing to say about the details of the nuclear issue at this stage.
Meanwhile, over the weekend, President Donald Trump, in an interview to his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump, on Fox, was asked whether there was a red line that if the Iranians would cross it, it would effectively trigger a resumption of high-intensity conflict.
Is there a line that they would cross for you to go on the offensive again militarily?
Well, a deal that wasn't going to be good for us is the line, ultimately, because, I'm playing it out and we're going to see, and that's what I do. I negotiate, they negotiate. They're very good negotiators. They're crafty. But in the end, we have all the cards because we've defeated them militarily. Look, they have no Navy. Every ship, they have 159 ships. Every one of them are at the bottom of the sea. Every single one. We take pictures of them. We have people going down taking pictures of hundreds of ships. Their Navy is totally gone, 100%. Their Air Force is totally gone, 100%. Their military, we've sort of left it alone because we think that their military is somewhat moderate. They have other people that aren't moderate. We've taken them out. We've taken different forms of leadership out. We've actually left their military alone. People would be surprised to hear that. because mistakes have been made in wars where you wipe out everybody and then you have a country that's, for 40 years can never rebuild. You look at what happened with Iraq. We did so bad. That was such a foolish thing, what we did. Shouldn't have been there in the first place, by the way. And shouldn't have been in Iran. But Iran has the capability. If we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers 9 months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon right now, and it would be a whole different.
It is important to highlight that according to separate reports, there is broad agreement between the United States and the Ayatollah regime on the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with one key gap remaining on the Islamic Republic demanding significant amounts of cash, while the Trump administration refusing any payments to the terror regime in Tehran. This ongoing disagreement is evidently the last straw that may reignite hostilities, since according to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Trump is only going to make it if he believes it's a great deal.
Any deal that the president is willing to make, he's only going to make it if he believes it's a great deal for our country and the security of the world. And only one president was willing to lay it out on the line and ensure after 47 years that Iran is not capable of having a nuclear weapon. And so you saw it in how he's been talking about it publicly. Those goalposts haven't shifted at all, which is the expectation of the American people and what we've stated to Iran. So in the middle of negotiations, the closer they come to that reality, both now and into the future, the closer we're going to get to that kind of a deal. And I also, having been in the room with him, I know he means it when he looks in the camera in the cabinet room and said they can either do this now through a deal, and we think we're in a good place to make that deal, or they can deal with the War Department. And we are prepared. We're postured even stronger today than we were on day one to address it that way if we have to, but he'd prefer not to.
Secretary Hegseth, who spoke while on a working visit to Singapore, continued by stressing that the U.S. War Department is currently focused on being postured and prepared to re-engage.
Right now, we're focused on being postured and prepared to re-engage if we have to. I mean, this is a high-stakes negotiation. We've got the best negotiator in the world leading it. Iran may not want to give up their nuclear ambitions, but we believe at the table they can and will over time, given the right set of incentives. But the most powerful incentive is the capabilities we have there right now, which they can't ultimately defend against at any real level. And those are decisions in the future the president will make based on how this ends. But I feel confident that he'll get to a deal that serves the interests of the American people.
It is important to know that while the United States is engaged in Pakistani broker negotiations with the Ayatollah regime in Iran, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who also serves as National Security Advisor, has also engaged both Israel and the Lebanese government's leadership in Beirut over the course of the past 48 to 72 hours as part of concentrated efforts to reach a tangible cessation of hostilities between Iran's proxy in Lebanon, namely Hezbollah, and Israel. It is important to highlight that since the ceasefire took effect between Hezbollah and Israel on April 16th, the Iranian proxy has launched over 900 rockets and missiles, along with over 1,200 one-way attack drones towards Israeli forces and civilian communities. Consequently, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu instructed the IDF to engage the Hezbollah terror organization by expanding its territorial control over strategic locations throughout southern Lebanon.
Our heroic fighters captured the Beaufort Castle. They proudly raised the flag of the State of Israel and the flag of the Golani Brigade there. I remind you that 44 years ago, this place was a symbol of a heroic battle by our fighters, but it was also a symbol of deep division among us. Today, we return to Beaufort differently. We returned united, determined, and stronger than ever. I spoke with the fighters on the northern border on Friday. They told me, "Tell the people of Israel what we are doing here." Prime Minister, the public doesn't know what achievements we have made. Well, since the beginning of the War of Redemption, we have eliminated 8,000 Hezbollah terrorists. Since Operation Roaring Lion, 3,000. In the past month alone, 700. This is more than everyone we eliminated during the Second Lebanon War. I have instructed the IDF to expand the incursion in Lebanon. Our forces have crossed the Litani River. They took dominant terrain. They captured the Beaufort Ridge. And now my instruction is to deepen and expand our hold on places that were under Hezbollah's control. The capture of Beaufort is a dramatic stage and a dramatic change in the policy we are leading. We have broken the barrier of fear. We are taking the initiative. We are operating on all fronts, in Syria, in Gaza, in Lebanon. We have established security zones beyond our borders to protect our communities.
Amid a rising number of casualties among IDF troops, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Efi Defrin sought to remind the citizens of Israel of the mission vis-à-vis Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Our mission is clear: to protect the northern communities, to distance the threat, and to deeply harm and weaken Hezbollah over time. We are constantly attacking with force. Our fighters are operating in the front line of defense and eliminating dozens of terrorists with each passing week. Since the beginning of the ceasefire alone, we have eliminated over 700 terrorists in Lebanon. They joined the over 2,500 terrorists we had eliminated since the beginning of Operation Roaring Lion. Why is this important? It is important because Hezbollah has about 30,000 terrorists, of whom we have already eliminated almost a third of its force. In recent days, we have hit sector commanders and operational personnel, thereby significantly damaging Hezbollah's command and control capabilities. The Chief of Staff is instructed to intensify the damage to it and expand the blows as dealt with. The forces on the ground continue to destroy Hezbollah's terror infrastructure. This is a consistent and systematic operation. Hezbollah is battered and bruised and is in a war of survival for its continued existence. This is the reality on the ground. It is desperate for a ceasefire. It is fighting for its survival.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. If you would like to help support TV7 Israel, which is exclusively donation-based, you can do so via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. If you're already a supporter, I'd like to voice our gratitude, since your support, your donations, help us sustain our ongoing broadcasts on a daily basis. Please keep also praying for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hessen, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.